So, all right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 52-day Renew Challenge. Now, as you may have heard from all of the videos that I've been sharing about my journey, this past, I would say, 2 years have been a journey of renewal, and especially amplified within this past year, where I've made some really life transforming decisions and adopted new practices that have helped me to regain vitality, vigor, and vibrancy. So, my invitation to all of you to join me on this challenge is for me to be able to walk you through some of what I've learned along the way, for us to be accountable to each other, to form a very supportive community that will enable each of us to meet our individual goals. Now, I know from the applications that I received that some of you are in a place where you're trying to rebrand yourself. Some of you are trying to reverse sickness and disease. Some of you are also in a place where you're just trying to get greater discipline into your life. And some of you are also in a place where you just want to make better nutritional choices. Whatever has brought you here, I want to say welcome and thank you for joining me for this journey. I don't consider it trivial, the fact that you've said yes to this. And the fact that you're here tells me that you are hungry for transformation. I am by profession a leader developer. I've spent a lot of years working in the field of leadership, but I know what it's like to have big vision, but little capacity, right? Some of us have really big vision and haven't really got the capacity to see the vision through. And for me, I'm someone who's been celebrated and hand clapped for several years as like a beacon of hope to other people. But in my down moments, I knew that I was not living my best life. I knew I wasn't as well as I could be, or as strong as I could be, or as disciplined as I should be. And these are all the questions that led me to this journey for transformation. As I shared in some of the emails that I sent out, for me, the turning point was in a Bible study that I was doing on the book of Nehemiah. I read for the first time, it hit me, it wasn't the first time I was hearing the story of Nehemiah, but it was the first time I paid attention to this part of the scripture, where the scripture says that Nehemiah rebuilt the broken walls of Jerusalem in 52 days. I had never known that there was a time set. So I was at the point when I read the story on medications for three different things. I was taking medications for high blood pressure, hypertension. I was taking medications for high blood sugar, diabetes. And I was also on medications for high cholesterol. I was lethargic and slow. I was the heaviest I had ever been in my life early last year. By the time, well, it was probably September 2022. I weighed like 126 kilos. That's the heaviest I've personally been all my life. And I just knew this was not my best. I knew that I needed to change, but I also felt very helpless to change. I don't know how many of you feel that. Like the thing that you want to do, you can't find the motivation to do, but the things that you know you shouldn't do are what you just keep doing. So for me, I went to this on all fronts. I took a spiritual dimension, like God, if you don't help me, I don't think I'm going to be here to see my kids grow up. If I don't change, I don't think that I'm actually going to be here to see the fulfillment of some of the big projects that I'm working on. So for me, it was just so many things coinciding at once. My youngest child is 3 years old, and I began to think, like, I don't even have the energy to play with this young man anymore. He's running around and I can't quite keep up with him. I'm feeling like I'm a shadow of my former self. And all of these things kind of led me to this place where, when I was doing this Bible study and I read the story of Nehemiah, and I realized that it only took 52 days to rebuild the broken walls of a city whose walls had been broken for nearly a century, that really spoke to me. So that was what I prayed. I prayed, Lord, If you could do this with Nehemiah, rebuild something that was broken in 52 days, if I gave you 52 days of doing nothing but these focused practices, I believe that you can rebuild my body. For those of us who are Christians, we might be familiar with this notion that our bodies are the new temple of God. And so if he rebuilt that temple in 52 days, I felt like I could rebuild my own temple. Like if I trusted God, he could rebuild my body as his new temple. So that's where this came from. That's where the number 52 came from. And I promised in December 2023 that, Lord, I'm going to do nothing but eat fresh fruits and vegetables for 52 days. I'm going to go on a fully raw diet. I'm going to drink water, so I have this. I don't know if you can see my big container. Like I get through at least one of these a day. I'm gonna drink nothing. I'm gonna give up all the Coke, all the Sobolo, all the anything that's not water. I'm gonna go back to Eden. I'm gonna go back to drinking only water. If I drink anything else, it would have to be coconut water. For 52 days, I'm going to do nothing but pray and study the word. I'm going to get deeper into my Bible study. I'm going to center Christ in my life. And then I wanted him to do three other things. I asked God that by the end of the 52 days, I want to stop taking these medications. I really felt like these medications were messing me up. I was getting these muscle cramps, and I heard that that's one of the, well, I actually read that that was one of the byproducts or the side effects of the high cholesterol medication I was on. They put me on Lipitor. It's a medication that there's a lot of horrible things written about online. In fact, prolonged use of Lipitor has been linked to things like dementia and Alzheimer's. And I remember reading that and thinking to myself, God, I am poisoning my body to fix one problem. I'm poisoning my body that's going to cause another problem down the line. The high blood sugar medication I was put on was called metformin, and that made my appetite even worse. So most of the weight that I gained was actually after they put me on the high blood sugar medication because it made me extremely hungry. Every time I would take that medication, I'd get even hungrier. I would binge eat. I could wake up and eat like 6 or 7 meals in a day instead of 2 or 3. It was horrible. And then I was on the high blood pressure medicine. And for me, that was causing things like night sweats. So I'd wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes with a really horrible headache and with horrible sweats. So my prayer was, Lord, at the end of the 52 days, I want my labs to be in the right place so that I will not need to take these high blood pressure medications, the blood sugar medications, the high cholesterol medications. I share that because we're kicking off the 52-day challenge today. And I want you to set some expectations for yourself. Like at the end of 52 days, what do you want? I was very clear because I believe that vague goals lead to vague results, right? If you just join this 52-day challenge just to say, hey, Yawa, what's up? Hang out with me on a daily basis. I love you, but you might be setting yourself up for failure. Have a clear goal. My goal was by end of 52 days, I want to not need to be on this medications. That was my major goal. And I want to study the scriptures and I want the Lord to help me, develop that fruit of the spirit called self-discipline. I felt like I was going through the motions in life and, the little I was doing was already impressive to other people, but I felt like I knew that this was actually not my best. That if I was actually to give my best, oh my goodness, what people are already impressed by, I would be able to magnify by tenfold, right? So maybe you're in that state too. People are already impressed by you. Maybe you're the oga in your group. You know, for those of you who are not from West Africa, when we say oga, it's like the big person, the esteemed person. Maybe you're in a group of people where everyone feels like you are the one who has arrived. You're the one that everyone looks up to. You're the one, right? And I felt like I was falling into that trap. Nobody was pushing me to change. Nobody was pushing me to be better than I was. In fact, everybody was already impressed. Nobody was really saying, yeah, well, you need to go on a diet, you need to do, because people felt like, well, we love you just the way you are. And that's the state that many of us are in. Some people are patting us on the back when we are living beneath our best self, right? And we see examples of this in scripture. Jesus knew what his assignment was on earth. He knew that he was meant to come, impact the world for a short period of time, and then die for the remission of our sins so that we could all be reconciled to God, right? But when he was telling his disciples that this is what's going to happen, you know, people, because of feeling sorry for and wanting the best for him, you know, Peter said, no, let this pass from you. Let it never happen, you know. And Jesus answered him in a way that I want many of us to start answering people who want us to stay the way we are. He said, get behind me, Satan. He's like, you don't understand the things of God. You only know the things of man. Man is preaching body positivity right now. So every body size, even if you're unhealthy, will be applauded, right? They're like, feel good in the skin you're in. So man will applaud you for being whatever size of unhealthy you are. Right? Man will be like, oh, you've done enough. In fact, for by human standards, by the standards of our family, you've done a great job. And then they will make you curtail the push that God is trying to ask you to push, right? So sometimes we are being coddled by people who admire us, who love us, who like us just the way we are, or sometimes we are, could you please mute your microphone? Thank you. So sometimes when we are in community with people who like us just the way we are, they coddle us when we're trying to reach for more. So the second thing I want to ask you to do is don't go out and about broadcasting, hey, I check me out. I'm part of a 52-day community. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. Just do the thing, right? Don't go broadcasting. Don't go, you know, asking everybody to check you out. And, you know, I want you to be so selfish with this community for this 52 days. I want you to just focus on you. I want you to just do your thing. In fact, I was doing this for months before people started to notice that I looked different or that I was eating different. In fact, if you didn't live in my house, you probably would not have known that I was doing anything differently, right? Because I realized that some people love us so much that they can get in the way of our transformation, right? Some people love us so much that they get in the way of our transformation. If you're just joining, I'm sharing a few truths with you. The first thing I said is that I want you to really, really focus on setting some major goal for yourself by the end of this 52 days. All right. So vague goals will result in vague results. So I want you to have something exact that you are believing for and working towards as we embark on this 52-day journey. I was just sharing with those who were on the call that I said that by the end of 52 days, I want to not need my medications. I was on medication for high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and high cholesterol. And I said, Lord, by the end of this 52 days, I want to not need it. I want everything to be normal. And by God's grace, it was, right? I took a very drastic decision. My commitment was that for the 52 days, I was going to eat nothing but raw food, right? So I ate nothing that was cooked. It was just raw fruits and vegetables. So I was doing smoothies, I was doing salads. I went online and found different recipes that I was making for myself. I went fully raw for 52 days because I wanted to get there real quick and in a hurry, right? I'm not prescribing this for all of you, but I am just giving you what I set my eyes on. That was my intention. The second thing I'm saying is I would encourage you to be fully selfish with this one, right? Resist the urge to go broadcasting to everyone that, hey, y'all, I'm on a 52-day challenge. I'm exercising for 20 minutes every day. I'm drinking 2 liters of water. I'm part of a community. Like, forget it, forget it. Let people see the change and comment instead of you broadcasting it. And I was on this journey for months before people started to know, wow, your skin looks amazing. What are you doing? You're glowing. Wow, what is happening? Or I went out with people and they noticed that I was eating different, or they noticed that I was at a meeting and they were like, wow, you look thinner. What is happening? Are you? So let other people notice and comment, resist the urge to broadcast. Some people love us so much that they help us to self-sabotage. In fact, sometimes the people who help us to sabotage are the people who benefit from where we are. So I realized, for example, that God really needed to help me prune my relationships. Many of the meetings that I would have would be over food, and many of those foods would be unhealthy or unwholesome. So many people would notice that I would say, oh, instead of meeting at this restaurant, can we meet over here at this park and walk while we talk? I wasn't making a big deal out of it, but I was re-shifting things that I was doing so that I would have success with where I was going. So similarly, you will have to shift your life in order to accommodate these new practices. Over these 52 days, I'm going to be sharing some of the practices that I have found have worked really well for me. I'm going to be sharing some of the material that I read, some of the videos that I've watched, some of the things that I felt God was speaking to me through my Bible studies, and then some of the things I learned through joining other communities, right? So it's been a holistic journey, and I just want to give you these 3 guidelines up front so that you do not, have a false start. Sometimes when you're on a transformation journey, the first things you will meet are resistance. Hey, what are you doing? I remember when I started, my husband was like, what is this? What is all this? What is all this that you're doing? Because I went very, like I said, I went fully raw. I stopped eating the things that I, would eat. I would cook for the family, but my food would be different. Um, and I realized that I was in a very codependent relationship, even with my husband. We would eat all of these decadent foods together. I would gain weight, but he wouldn't. Like, our body metabolized so differently that he could get away with doing some things and not really see an impact on his body. But my body was really, really, really showing me that it was really, really not the way to go. Okay. So I really am encouraging you to make these decisions up front. Make these decisions to not allow yourself to have a false start. Make an intention today. What are you going to set your eyes on? By the end of these 52 days, what do you want? I didn't set a weight goal for myself. So this 52 days, I've set a weight goal. I've lost over 30 kilos of weight. Like I said, I weighed over 120 at my heaviest in 2022. I weighed 126 kilos. I now weigh about 87 kilos, right? Um, and my ideal weight is 80. So I want to just be 80 kilos. So I don't want to, wiggle anymore with my weight. So I this is what my goal is in terms of a weight goal for this 52-day challenge. I want to be at 80, you know, at or in the vicinity of 80 kilos. And that's what I want to maintain as my ideal weight, right? So many things I've said. The long and short of it, dear sisters, is that I really, really want you to embrace with an open heart, an open mind, and an open spirit this 52-day journey we're about to embark upon. And renew is actually an acronym. R stands for relationships. The R in renew stands for relationships. And that's where we're going to start. Each day this week, I'm going to post a video in our groups looking at different aspects of relationship, because I personally do not think it's possible to transform without first examining relationship. For me, it's the kind of relationship I wanted with my husband, with my kids, and with myself that really set the stage to keep me motivated. So this week, we're going to start off with really examining relationship. What kind of relationship do you have with yourself? What inhibits you from practicing integrity with yourself, from doing the things that you said you would do despite your best efforts, those things that do not change? I'm going to give you some reading to do, and I'm going to give you some exercises to do. And I want you to wholeheartedly do them. I want you to paste your answers in the group on Facebook and on WhatsApp. And I want you to just do the work with me, because this stuff, if you would unpack your answers, they actually do work. There's about 30 of us who signed up to do this challenge. And at some point, I do want to pair us with accountability partners as well, so that some of this will be exchanges in the big group and some of this will be exchanges with a smaller group. But I really, really want you to be open to this journey. E, the first E is for energy. God taught me a lot about energy, how to manage it, how to use it to your advantage, and how to bring the right energy into the spaces that I am. So that's the second piece of the renew pie, right? Energy, how to create it, how to manage it, and how to use it to your advantage. And the reason why we're going to start with relationship before we go to energy is part of what we will unpack in relationship is the fact that each of us have different personality types. And some personality types need to be a little more vigilant on how they consume their energy. Some of us are very empathetic, and I fall into that category of I have high empathy, which means if I'm not very careful with how I manage my energy, I can be sapped and drained in tasks that wouldn't sap or drain other people. So, for example, I'm an executive coach and I coach other women. And it's very easy, if I am not careful, to absorb the energy that they bring to a call, right? If they're going through something difficult or hard, I can empathize because I'm a person who exhibits high empathy. So there are things that I do to prepare myself for such calls and to distress myself after such calls, because now I understand my relationship type, my personality type. So this is a piece of what we will look at under relationship. And so that's why we need to examine that before we go to energy, right? I also realize that my husband and I have different energy types. Sometimes he's in a very chatty mood, but I am very cerebral. And some of the tension that we would sometimes have in relationship was because I did not know how to match his energy. Neither did he know how to match my energy at certain times, right? So starting with relationships will help us to unpack our personality type and really set the stage for energy, how we manage our energy and come to this process and other things with the right type of energy, right? The N in renew stands for nutrition. Some of you may be wondering, why aren't we starting there? I really think it's hard to get your nutrition under control until you've renegotiated your relationship with yourself and others. That was I've been on so many failed diets. I don't know if you can show me by emoji if you fall into that category as well. I have been on so many failed diets. I have so many gym memberships that I signed up for and could never, use or utilize. I've joined so many weight loss groups and couldn't even, see the difference. I feel like the difference that this 52-day process made was that it started off with relationship, then it went to energy before we even looked at nutrition. I felt so burnt out in 2022. I felt, I resigned from a job and was just feeling low energy. I was lethargic. I was slow. I couldn't climb up a flight of stairs without being breathless. I, would sit with people and they will be like, why are you breathing so hard? Like, even my breathing was horrible. I would snore. My husband has these recordings of me snoring. Sometimes he would tell me like he couldn't sleep the night because I was snoring so badly. And to the glory of God, just was it 2 weeks ago, he said to me, I notice you don't even snore anymore. And that was like another cherry on top of the cake, because I know I'm lighter physically. I know that I feel better. I know that I'm no longer on the medications, but it was just such an embarrassment to me sometimes, the fact that he would say things like he couldn't sleep because of how badly I was snoring. So I want to attack nutrition after we've examined relationship with self, relationship with others, because I found that by understanding the cause of my binge eating, by understanding the triggers of energy that would make me feel like I needed more food than I needed, the source of gluttony, understanding that I grew up in a family that glorified gluttony and was in a church tradition. We lived in the US when I was young, and we lived in the South. And I don't know if you know about the South in the US and how they're known for what's called soul food and good cooking and all of that. So I grew up with some really bad habits around food. And so we will treat nutrition as the third piece of our renew process for these reasons, because I feel like you set yourself up for failure if you're just like, eat this, eat that, don't eat this. I don't want to get prescriptive yet. I want us to dig deep and understand the roots of why we make the nutritional choices that we make, so that when we do tackle nutrition, you're armed with the self-awareness that can help you win. All right. The last E in the renew process is exercise. I have learned new ways to integrate movement. And I don't really like the word exercise as I like movement. I think movement for me feels like a better word, because exercise to some people sounds like a dirty word. Exercise means I need to be in a gym. I need to be doing things that are unpleasant or things that make me feel like I'm punishing my body. But I like the word movement, because movement really is that. Like, I've learned to just incorporate movement into my day. If I'm going somewhere and it's maybe 10 minutes away from the house, these days I'll get on my bicycle and just ride there. So many people know me in the area now as that woman who rides the bike, because sometimes I'll even tie my little boy on my back if I'm home alone with him and don't have help. I'll tie him on my back and I'll get on the bicycle and just ride to where I'm going, right? And I find like I've incorporated movement. He enjoys being on the bicycle with me. For him, it's calming, and for me, it's movement. I've incorporated movement into my day. Sometimes the movement that I incorporate is just sitting at this same desk. I'm sitting in my home office at home, right? I sit at this same desk and just do arm raises, right, for 10 minutes. And then I stand up and squat at this desk for 10 minutes, right? And that's 20 minutes of movement. I didn't change my clothes into workout clothes. I'm still on my calls, but I just took 20 minutes out of my day to move, right? So I want us to explore exercise from the perspective of how do we make it fit into the lives we currently lead now, right? How do we make it fun and entertaining? Because one of the things that I enjoy doing these days is dancing. You know, um, there's this Dance Revolution game that I do with my daughter, so it's choreographed dancing to music. She enjoys it, I enjoy it, we sweat. And by the time we know it, I've spent 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes or more, sweating in dancing, right? Or sometimes I just put on praise music, funky praise music that I love, and I dance to it. I've worked up a sweat. Sometimes I don't even change my clothes. I don't put on sneakers. I don't put on workout clothes. Sometimes I'm in my shower. right? Before I physically take the shower, while I'm naked, excuse me for being so graphic, I'm just, you know, raising myself up and down, moving my hands up and down, doing 20 jumping jacks in the shower and all of that. And then I'm done. And then I put the shower into motion and then do that. So I really want to introduce to us exercise that fits our lives, that is enjoyable, that doesn't involve gym memberships, fancy equipment, or leaving your home. Because I think that those were the major reasons why I wasn't moving as much as I could have. And I really want to integrate that into this renew process. So that's what the last E stands for. And the W, the final pillar in renew, is work. Most of us spend most of our waking hours at work or working. And I think one of the big things that God did with me throughout this journey over the past 2 years is renegotiate my relationship with work. I think for many of us, too much of our identity is tied into work. So when we feel like work isn't going well, for me, that was one of my triggers. If I didn't feel accepted at work or work wasn't going well, I could eat more than I need to eat or feel stressed, feel unwell, if I didn't meet my fundraising targets, or this event didn't go well. Too much of me and how I valued my worth was tied into work. So the final pillar is us looking at how we show up through our work. Many of you here are entrepreneurs. Some of you work for other organizations. Some of you are social entrepreneurs. And, I believe that my call in life is leader developer, and I know that it is impossible to be a full-on blessing to other people through your work if there are bits and pieces of you that are broken. So for me, this entire process is God calling us to stop living as half of, or a quarter of, or three-quarters of ourselves. He's inviting us into wholeness. And there's this person in the scriptures that the Bible talks about that was sat at this pool waiting for the angel to stir up the waters. And I believe God has stirred the waters through this challenge. And the question that Christ asked when he saw this person was, do you want to be made whole? Do you actually want? Because sometimes we're here, but we don't really want it badly enough. So for me, I want to encourage you to want this badly, whatever you're setting for yourself, whatever you're setting as your goal for this end of the 52 days. And now I want to pause and invite us to do our introductions. I want you to tell us what's your name, what country you're from, and what drew you to this challenge. And if you've already thought of what you want to see happen at the end of this 52 days, please share with us as well. This is a safe space. I'm really, really very committed to making sure nobody who isn't meant to be here is here. And I want to make sure that we, honor this space by bringing our full selves. So I will call on people in the order that I see them, if that's okay. I'd like to start with Yaganoma. Yaganoma, can you unmute and talk to us?
Hi, good evening. My name is Yaganoma. I decided to take part in this. Sorry, I have a cold, so I'll be blowing my nose quite often. And I have a guest as well. I decided to take part in this because I have been unmotivated for quite some time now, for a very long time now. Please give me a moment. You don't understand, mommy's in a meeting there.
I see your chairman is also on the scene.
So I have been quite unmotivated to do a lot of things that I want to do. And I can't seem to get it done. I am I am cash strapped, so it just makes it worse. But the one thing I've really noticed is my discipline levels are non-existent. Let me put it that way. And for the past, I've had chronic pain for some time, and when I had my children, it got worse. So now I'm in constant pain, and I just thought something has got to give somewhere along the line. I've been trying to figure out how to get my life back. This year I've gone through therapy, coaching. I'm actually still got my last session of coaching, and I've decided, and I've even tried a 60-day challenge where I had to pull out on the 40th day because I was going to have my child. That was last year. And so this year, I just decided something has got to give. I need to get my mojo back and figure out how to live my life fully the way I'm supposed to. And so when I saw this, I was like, okay, maybe this is an opportunity to get back on board and get my life back together.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing, Yaganoma. And I just really want to join faith with you that this journey will be significant and that all of the expectations that you have for relief of your physical pains and for restoration of that spirit of discipline and whatever else that will happen for you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Tori, please unmute and share with us. If you're able to get on video, we'd love to see your face as well.
So I'm Tori, Tori Song, and I since the year began, I have been looking for since last year I put on about 15 kilos. And I've just been thinking, I mean, every day I wake up, I know that something is wrong. I know I'm not doing something right. And when I try to start something, I take 2 steps back, it gets worse. And I'm looking for newness. I want something new. And so when I saw this challenge, I thought it was something I would like to plug into. I was very motivated because it's not just a physical exercise. There are so many dimensions of life that I want to look into. And I think this covers everything that I want to do. So this is my motivation for joining. I want to do some healthy living. I want to renew. I want renewal. Yeah. So this is me.
Awesome. Wonderful. And thank you for coming, Tori. Yes.
Please tell me Dagara.
Sorry?
The name, her name, she said
It
Tori
is.
Song.
It is.
Which part?
So I come from a village called Sing.
Oh, okay.
Sing near Wa.
Okay.
The University of Ghana.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, is it Pascaline?
So,
No.
okay,
Sorry.
Yaganoma, we can do the connections behind if
Later.
that's okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. But thank you for your enthusiasm to get to know each other. Na, I see your hand is up. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself next?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name
Good
is
evening.
Na Akuye Shikapapo. It's a mouthful, yes. Na Akuye Shikapapo. And I got motivated from you, Sister Yawa. I have the same set of problems just as yourself. I'm diabetic. I've been diagnosed since May 2019, so I've been 5 years diabetic. I'm on metformin. I take high cholesterol medication, Cresta. I take some other medication, and I have a stress disorder. So mine is after a thyroid surgery. I had a total thyroid surgery in 2014. And I'm supposed to be on a hormone for the rest of my life, which is levothyroxine. But my job, which is cookery, Sometimes I get so busy, I even forget to take my tablets. So can you imagine you're not taking your thyroxine for a week or more? Where do the hormones come from? I started compromising my hormones. Where does the where do you get insulin from to break down your sugar? And I didn't really, it was ignorance. Before I was aware, I'd thrown myself in the deep end. And so literally, I'm somebody who's not weighty by nature. I come from a family where people do not even have an inch over their belts, over their waistline. But I don't know, somehow with the hormones, I seem to be more fleshy than everybody around me. And my pre-pregnancy weight was probably just about 60 kilos. I've always been really pretty slim, perfect UK size 8, both up and down. And I found myself getting to size 12. I'm probably a medium right now, about size 10. And I think I'm more motivated to lose the little belly that I have from 3 cesareans. I've got a bit of a baby elephant kind of tummy, and I was motivated because you said you managed to get off your medication. I know the muscle cramps you're talking about, it's not funny. It's just like you've had very rigorous exercise and you're suffering from, after gym, overexerting yourself in the gym. So I'm just having the muscle cramps all of the time. And I've turned my children into masseuses, and every evening they're hitting on my back. And, because sometimes it's so cramped that you actually can't go to sleep. It's your whole body is tense. So basically you're my motivator. I'm also very a high empath. And it makes me lose out on looking after myself because you put everybody first. You understand? My territory is my home. I don't know if anyone believes in horoscopes, but my horoscope, we're sort of territorial in our home. So I have an eye for everything. Like everything must be spick and span, and I just put everybody first but myself. So I think over the years I've not looked after myself, and I'm actually looking forward to testify like you have that you're off your medication, because I've been on so much medication, propranolol. You don't want to know. I've come off a lot already, and I'm on like 4 at the moment, and it would be absolutely amazing to come off of them. So that's how come I've joined. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. And, I just really am thankful to have motivated you. And I really think these transformations are possible, especially when we come to nutrition. So much of what we eat, is showing up in the root causes of some of the symptoms that we have and the diseases that develop. And there's so much of a link and a correlation between mental unwellness and the foods that we're eating these days. A lot of research has shown that there's just an uptick in mental health issues because most of our meat in the that's being supplied in our markets have high rates of antibiotics that's ending up in the meat itself. So there's just so much to unpack about even why, without eating a horrible diet, sometimes we still find ourselves getting sick. So I really pray that this journey will be meaningful for you, Na, and that, just like me, you'll have that ability to get off the medications because you start doing so well. All right, who's next? I see next on my screen, Annette. So Annette, could you unmute and share with us, please?
Absolutely.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everyone. Hi, Ola. Nice to see everyone. So real briefly, you mentioned something at the beginning that sometimes when you're in a certain space, it seemed like everybody's kind of looking up to you, but you know that there's another level that you want to get to. for me, that is the reason why I joined this. My word for this year was ascend. And so, just like we were talking about the man at the pool of Bethesda, and also looking and seeing that you're supposed to live in wholeness, but it looks as if like you're living maybe halfway through or maybe 3/4, and sometimes we settle with that. But for me, I see this as 52 days to really zone in and bring it to that next level of completion, or wholeness, I should say, because there's always not perfection, but wholeness in the season. And so it's just an opportunity to seize these 52 days to challenge myself to get to that level of wholeness. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you're here. And I love it. You're looking for wholeness. And I think that's what we're all called to find in this journey. What does wholeness mean to you? I think to each of us, it'll be different. But I think each of us is hungry for transformation. And I hope that we can use this first couple of days together to really put on paper, and put in front of each of ourselves what we're looking for and how will we know we've met it. So thank you, Annette, for sharing. Next on my list is Ujuaku. Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ujuaku Akokwe. I'm from Nigeria. And where do I start? So anyway, I think why I joined, not that I think, why I joined this 52-day challenge is because I feel and I know that I've been going round in circle, like, just for me, it's just like rinse and repeat, and it gets tiring, especially in my line of work. So I've set new targets for myself, and that is number one is actually write them down, like clarity, to gain more clarity in what is it that I need to be doing and how do I need to do it, to begin to pay more attention to things and, work on them. My second goal is to get more intimate time with God. Like sometimes I think He has done a lot for me, and you get to a point whereby we begin to get in a place where we take everything for granted. So I don't want that anymore. So I want to devote some time, and that time is just meant for me to connect with God. Say that I'm praying or worshiping or reading my Bible. I don't just want to wake up and like pray Psalm 91 and rush off and come back again and just do the sign of the cross and go to bed. I think the time that we live in requires more. So I want to build back my relationship with God the way it should be. And the last one is I want to rebrand myself in the way I show up, in the way show up in my life, in my relationships, in my business. And by rebranding myself, I look forward to working on my weight because sometimes I'll just look back. I eat once a day. I eat most times twice a day. And why am I putting so much weight? And everywhere is paining you. You are raising your hand, it's pain, your knee, you are climbing the stairs, you are just tired. And just like Yawa said, although people around you don't complain, but you know that, something needs to shift. And not just for you to look good, it's okay, but also for health reasons. Thankfully, I'm not on any medication, but I think it's about time I work on my weight, rebrand myself, show up. In terms of relationship, the past few months has been it's been crazy. I'm not the type that keep a lot of friends, but sometimes people that you bring close to you feel like, oh, you're not giving me the attention that I need. But sometimes they also forget that you are also not doing well, that you are not, you can't be there all the time. It's true that maybe you know that they are going through, different life challenges, but you are equally dealing with a lot in your life. But you find yourself beginning to, always explaining, always apologizing, always trying to meet everybody where they are. So the last few months and the last few weeks, got me thinking like, no, I can't be doing this. Because sometimes there's something I do with my family, my children, people I truly care. I'm selfish with them. I shield them from the world. Like sometimes people say, "Oh, you don't post your children." I said because it's they are for me. Like I protect them. It's me like not wanting to share. So I think I've been, giving that, people have taken that for granted, that is how it should be. You just keep giving, even when you are dying, giving. And when you're giving and nobody, when you have issues, there's nobody to even check, oh, is Ujuaku okay? How is she? And even when you want to apologize, it's still the same rinse and repeat. So when I saw the 52-day challenge, I actually didn't think twice about it. Like sometimes you just looking for something, you don't even know what you're looking for. And when you see that and you go like, yes, this is it. So for me, that's when I saw it. I said, no, this is exactly where I need to be. And because I know Yawa, she's somebody I look up to, she motivates me. I said, no, for Yawa to be doing this, this is where I need to get myself in. And I also told myself that I am so certain that I'm going to meet a tribe of women that are actually also on their journey to either set new goals for themselves or do or whatever it is, that I have a tribe of women that all of us will be cheering ourselves on to achieve our goals. So that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love the word tribe, and I love it because I think that's part of why I wanted it to be cohort based. I think iron will sharpen iron here. We'll all motivate each other and we'll all keep each other supported as we're making these transformations. But I think one commonality I see with everyone here is that each of you are impact driven. And I think Africa is at this critical point where we need more and more of us to move in a different realm. God gave me this word, it was probably 3 years ago, seismic shift. And I was on a call with my executive coach and we were talking and she said, what was resonating for her as I was talking to her about what I'm doing is quantum leap, which is very similar in terms of you're at this level, but you're not moving from 1 to 2, you're moving from 1 to 1,000. Like, I feel like so many of us are on the verge of that type of movement. And that type of movement, if you're not well, will kill you. And that's why I knew I needed to get like my life back in order. How God put it to me was prepare for prominence. Some of us, the world is already impressed with you, but God is like, no, don't satisfy your appetite at this level. I've got more for you. But if you're not careful, just like how there was this disciple in the Bible, you may know the story of, who was a fisherman. They toiled all night and caught nothing, but then Jesus told them to go out. And when they went out, they got a net breaking harvest. But that net breaking harvest nearly killed them, right? Because it was so much unexpected, they weren't prepared for it. And that scripture said they had to call in other ships to come help them bring in that harvest. And I think that that's what God's trying to do with some of us. He's trying to propel us very quickly into certain limelights, into the forefront of certain industries, into the forefront of in certain aspects of life. But that speed that propels is also speed that could kill if we're not ready. And that's why I knew, like, God was telling me, this is the time to fix you, because I'm about to unleash you in ways that if you aren't ready, like the physicality of it will knock you out. And then also, if I don't get you to re-examine your relationship with work, you will start settling for less than you're meant to. And I don't know who needs to hear that. I know W is at the end of the journey. We'll look at work, but some of us are also unfit, unmotivated, and unhealthy, partly because we're not really getting the totality of the assignment that we're called to fill, and so we're out begging, we're in slave mode instead of queen mode. And that we're going to talk a lot about, because some of us, we may wear the title of CEO or executive, but we operate as slaves. And I think God wants to fix that. God's really been dealing with me on that. And you're going to hear me say God a lot, because for me, I think God has been the source of all transformations that I am experiencing. So if that makes you uncomfortable, I beg your pardon, but you're going to have to deal with it, because you can't quite know me without knowing the fact that Christ really is the center of everything, right? So thank you, Draku. Next on my list is Irama.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm Irama. I don't know what else to say, but the reason why, and I'm in Ghana, I think the reason why I joined the
Find out
52-day challenge
if they
was that
are-
I've been reaching out to get new relationships, and I think I reached out to you, Yawa, not too long ago. Yeah. So I've been, yes, I don't know where to start, but yes, I'm trying to change some things, and I'm trying to build new relationships in that process. And so when I saw the 52-day challenge, that was one of the main things that I had on my mind, joining a group of women who are also on the journey of transformation, and who would also be like accountability partners on the journey. So that's what I have in mind. But also listening to all the health stories makes me, and just this afternoon, I was thinking about myself, and I had just told myself that the only, not the only thing, but I think the main thing that's left, especially in the area of health, is just learning to drink water. And so it's interesting that you mentioned, I have been on metformin before. I'm not on metformin anymore. And that was due to gestational diabetes. I had a child, and things went out of control. I don't have weight problems. I understand the being very hungry for metformin. But in my case, I would almost pass out because I wouldn't eat, but then I would be very hungry. And then, so they took me off metformin, and I'm on something else. And it hasn't been bad, but I really think, I've been thinking about it, because I've been warned that I don't need to lose weight by my doctors. That, I mean, you don't need to go down any further. So I'm asking, okay, so what's left? And it just occurred to me today that maybe you're just not drinking enough water. That's just it. So I'm hoping that one of the things that will change in 52 days is my water drinking habit. But I really do look forward to a group of women that I will grow with and be accountable to. Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, we all need to learn how to drink a lot of water, right? So please, throughout the 52 days, minimum two liters of water, right? And I like these bottles that give you kind of timelines. You know, I don't know if you can see this well. I have two of these. One's darker, so maybe I should have brought that one, but it kind of tells you, keep going. By 5 o'clock, you should be at this level. You know, you need something that keeps you reminded of the fact that your body needs water. And sometimes, you know, the hydration is the reason why, you know, we're seeing sickness manifest in certain areas. So first thing in the morning, drink water before meals. I usually, you know, have a cup of water. Sometimes I chew some cloves and then drink water on it. It gives you this sensation of like toothpaste. So it's a great antiseptic for the mouth, and it washes, you know, it goes down with water, like, and it gives you that kind of minty feel. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and of course I'm not being prescriptive here, but I find that in the morning is just a nice way to kick off the day. And then when I come back to the room, then I do my teeth brushing and prepare for the day with a shower and everything like that. But like my discipline now is drink my water in the morning, and I might down it with some cloves. Sometimes I take a little Celtic salt. Celtic salt is also full of minerals, and it's really good for hydration. You know, they say Celtic salt is really good at pulling the water into the cells of your body. So sometimes I do that. But hydration has made a whole lot of difference, you know, because the two main things people keep telling me is like your skin is popping and your weight is dropping. And I think the water is really the secret to the skin popping. Like, you want really good skin, you've got to do really great hydration. I think the other thing about hydration that I would say is that sometimes it's easy to mistake hunger for thirst. You know, sometimes your body's actually thirsty. So I find that when I feel hungry, I will drink water first. And it's usually good to wait 30 minutes after you drink your water to really feel like, okay, this is actually hunger, then I'm going to eat. Right. And the reason why waiting between the drinking of the water and the meal is that you don't want to dilute your digestive juices. And that's the only thing that I would give you as we're aiming to drink more water. The timing of drinking the water is also important. So I typically don't take water with meals anymore. Take the water in the morning. My first meal these days is usually after 10 or 11. You know, I don't do early morning eating anymore. And when we talk about nutrition, I'll talk about why I've stopped doing it, because I've read and come to realize certain things that I think were meaningful to me. But as I'm encouraging you to drink more water, I'm not encouraging that you drink it while you're eating. Because for a lot of people, what you may find is bloating because the food that should have been digested wasn't really digested well, because you diluted the digestive juices that have been working on your food. So early morning, after meal, like an hour after the meal, then you drink some water, or water, you know, the time that you usually be snacking, drink water instead, so that like you're really bringing the water in more, but you're doing it at sensible times, not just before or during a meal, but you're giving that distance so that you're not diluting your digestive juices. That's the only caveat that I want to give to the hydration bit. So thank you for sharing, Irama. Next on my list is Melly. Melly, could you unmute and share with us, please?
Yes. Hi, good evening to everybody. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
My name is Melly Mansu, and great. And I joined this because this year I turned 30 and I've been trying to evaluate myself, what I have been doing work-wise, social life, my prayer life, and I've been trying to discipline myself. I've put down a few notes of what I would want to do this year, and so far, I would give myself, say, 30% of what I've put down for myself, and I've been meaning and looking for.
Oh, Melly, I think we've lost you. Melly.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know if.
Okay, we hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. So I was just looking out for a space where I could grow and I could also rebrand myself and be disciplined and also be kept accountable. And so I also didn't hesitate when I saw this, and I just jumped on it, and I'm just hoping for a rebrand, discipline, and also health. I mean, health-wise, I've been trying to just take preventive steps. I actually drink a lot of water, so that I wouldn't have any issue with that. But just more exercising and just evaluating myself, you know. So basically, that's why I'm joining this, and I'm hoping to get great results. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, Melly. We're so glad to have you. And 30, you know, I know what it's like to have these milestone years. And that was also part of my motivation as well. I turned 40 last September. And I did this, you know, I'm part of the CEO Accelerator, and I did one of the CEOs in my cohort runs a health shop. So she did a free screening for all of us, and she had us stand on this machine that calculates your metabolic age. So my physical age was at the time 39, or yeah, because this was just before my birthday. And then my metabolic age was like 50 something. And I thought to myself, oh dear, this is a wake-up call, because it meant like the rate at which my body was hydrated, my weight at the time, I don't know, there were like 4 metrics that machine was reading. And I remember thinking to myself, this thing has added like 16 years to my life. This is horrible, number one. And number two, come on, Yawa. You're supposed to be here to see your children's children. At this rate, you won't be. So that was really something scary. So I can identify with you, Melly, about having kind of a milestone birthday and doing this life evaluation. And I made big decisions. I said, you know something, I've been saying I'll cut my hair for a long time. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So I did that. I traveled, I did a whole bunch of things just in quick succession. And people are like, wow, you are having a midlife crisis or some sort of breakdown. But I remember thinking to myself, there is no guarantee. I lost a dear friend to leukemia. I've seen just so many people who I thought would still be here who are not. So I want to start treating myself as an asset, and I want to encourage everyone in my network to start doing the same, because if we're going to live up to be the exemplars of excellence in whatever field God has called us to, we have to first really actually live in order to do that. And it's not God's best for us to be overwhelmed or to be stressed or to be sick. And I think this journey for me is teaching me that we have a role to play in making sure that we live up to our best selves. So thank you, Melly. Next on my list, Catherine, are you able to unmute? Are you able to get on video as well and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what country you're in, and what motivated you to join us.
Hello.
Hi, Catherine.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
My video is quite darkened.
You must already
My
be
name is
that.
Kat, and I'm from Ghana, Kumasi to be precise. A sister of mine introduced me to you. Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
A sister of mine introduced me to you. My problem has been overthinking and not finding solutions to it. And at times I even victimize myself within me without going out there to get the solutions to the problem that I need. And also, if I really want to do something, I go all out. So at times I found myself to be a man pleaser. I mean, I would really want you to know that I can really do this and do it well. And at times it goes way ahead and I become a victim out of it. So I don't really know you. Vera introduced me to you, so I'm here to learn a lot, how to go out there and get my goals done, and also learn new things as well. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you as well, Catherine. It's so good to have you here. And I know a thing or two about people pleasing. So you're in the right place. And that's why we're starting with R for relationships, because I think for a lot of people, that is a more common problem than you realize. So thank you for sharing and welcome to the community. Imelda, are you able to unmute and share?
Yes, well, it's quite late this side, past midnight, but yes, it was one of the calls I was really waiting for. I told a friend we were doing a prayer session and said, let me just have a nap for at least 2 hours so that I can wake up sharp. So hopefully I am. My apologies, my voice is not really great. There's a bit of flu around here, so I was actually kind of down over the weekend. Yeah, so as I was introduced, my name is Imelda Lutebinga. I'm calling in from Tanzania. I met my dear sister Yawa 2 months ago. Yeah, April, around April. And I felt like it was a godly connection. There was a reason why we met. I don't take things quite lightly or for granted. I am in a season where the Lord has been speaking to me in terms of where he wants to, where he's calling me or what he's instructing me to do. And I think at this stage, I think where I am, I need a lot of alignment. I need a lot of pruning. I need a lot of process. I need a tribe, to keep me focused. And, so when I spoke to Yawa about coaching and all that, and I just kind of packed it somewhere. But then before I knew it, the 52 challenge came up, and I was like, yeah, I think this is really something for me. Because I think, Yawa, you spoke about things that you might be already experiencing that higher core, but for you to get there, for you to do what you need to do, there are things that you need to go through in terms of, as a person, as an individual. So I work in a corporate as a business leader. I am a social entrepreneur. I am a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I do ministry and the like. So you can imagine a couple of good things already have started capturing here. Sometimes people will tell you, you're already doing a lot. You're already there. What are you looking for and the like? But really, it's you to listen to yourself. I always remember the scripture saying, to whom much is given, much will be also expected from them. So I really group myself amongst those that really much is given, much expected, and it's all by his grace. So what I look forward here was I had someone talking about rebranding. Yes, rebranding, because I really want to show up fully, alignment, focused, relaxed, and God has been talking to me about a season of rest. As much as somebody's talked about ascending, but ascending should not be overwhelming. It has to be at a point of rest, a point of maturity spiritually, physically, mentally, and the likes. Healthy wise, yes, a lot of ups and downs. Started off in the gym, didn't last. Said I'll do X, Y, Z, work in the mornings, didn't work. So I said, still, let me get to something that's going to really work for me in terms of really, that's why I like movement than workouts, because the workouts sometimes really, I've got a lot of excuses. I don't have my training gears, so you're not doing anything and the like. So I look forward to really learn a lot into that particular space. So in terms of really goal setting, I think you've seen I've gone like all over somehow, but slowly trying to put things in line in terms of my health, spirituality, the physical part of it. I have been in, I don't know, nobody has mentioned here about PMS, the perimenopause or whatever. Something that has hit me differently. Still in my early 40s, I'm 42. But the way it started like last year was really, really crazy. So I'm into all these kind of supplements and the like. So not bad thing, but again, I feel like if everything else adjusts itself, I might even get off of the medication, not really medication, supplements, but just the body coming up to play where it should play and the way it should be. Yeah, so basically, I think that's it. I really look forward to walk through the journey. I look forward to accountability partners in terms of really knowing that I'm not in this journey alone. And of course, at the end of it all is really alignment, more focus, more aligned, more of self-love and appreciation. Because I think sometimes we just all go, 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 go. I can't wait for the time of work because I think I've gone through a stretch in my career, and I think I am supposed to get to a point of now having the right relationship with work so that it also works for me, not just for the business and the like. So thank you so much, ladies. I look forward to learn from you and connect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Imelda. And thank you. You know, we will be changing the times of the calls because people are from different continents. But this kickoff call is at 8 p.m. today, and we'll try an earlier time slot another time. We're not going to do live calls every day, but every day I will be posting videos and work for you in the groups. Our next live call will be on Wednesday, and I will choose a time that's a little earlier to be a bit more fair to the likes of Imelda and others. So please bear with me on that. But yeah, we've got Ghana and Nigeria and Tanzania and the US. And I think all of our US participants are on the East Coast. So I know this isn't terribly late for them. So I do need to be sensitive for my East Africa community. But of course, you'll always have the replays if you ever miss anything. So that's one of the positive things about having the program be fully virtual. All right, so let me see who's next on the list. Pascaline, have we heard from you yet? Are you able to unmute and share?
Not yet. Yaganuma was the one who called my name earlier.
Aha, I know I heard
Yes.
your name, but I don't remember hearing your voice.
Yes, so my name is Pascaline Sonsori. I live in Ghana, work at the University of Ghana. Why did I join this challenge? In fact, when I saw it, there was a bit of hesitation because I told myself that I don't think I'm that disciplined to do this. But I believe that everybody's capable of doing something. I wanted to give it a try. I realized that it's when I filled my form, I said one of the things I was torn between weight loss and then discipline. But I realized that discipline is something I need to work on a lot more, because when you are disciplined, then you're able to make better choices in everything that you do. So I'm here to discipline myself, to renew my entire self. I'm happy that yeah, one mentioned the acronym for renew, okay? Because when I look at all these 5 things, I need, help in all of these ones. And I believe that joining this 52-day challenge would help me to build on all of these 5 areas of my life. So indeed, that's why I'm here. In terms of health, I don't take medication for anything, but I do go through a lot of hormonal issues. And I'm one person who tracks my cycle very well. And anytime there's a bit of change I go through, I have migraines and all of those things. So I think that is also a way even though I'm working on myself in other ways, looking at nutrition and how that affects the way I feel at certain times during the month. So I'm really looking forward to all of these things and how they'll make my life better, because I know that I'm someone who has a lot of potential, even though I have my regular job. There are other things I do. For instance, I'm an author. I know there's a lot more I can be doing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the 52-day Renew Challenge will help me to be a better version, cliche as it sounds, but be a better version of myself. So that's why I'm here.
Excellent. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Pascaline. We're happy to have you here and just really thankful for your commitment to this journey. I have learned that self-discipline or self-control is actually a fruit of the spirit. And that's why I really want us to start with relationship. And part of that relationship is, where are you spiritually? Because I think that there is something about leaning in. I think what's made this journey different from me was I've been less reliant or dependent on my strength and more yielded to God for strength. Like, Lord, I thank you for strengthening me today. Like, there was just so much meditation that I did in the front end around the gift of self-control, as opposed to me, Yawa, being so, driven by a strong will. And I want to teach that in this week's videos. So you'll be watching some of the what I will be posting this week to unpack the process. So I for anyone who's also kind of worried that they're not disciplined enough to stick to this, or nobody is. That's why God has to gift us self-control. Nobody has the willpower to make the life-transforming changes that will make them be all that God has called them to be. That is my theory. And my lived reality is that what has made this process different is because every day I yield. Like, Holy Spirit, help. That's my 3-word prayer. And I keep it on repeat. Holy Spirit, help. That I am no longer trusting in my own strength, my own ability, my own capacity, or my own intellect. I am asking God to give me help. And, opening my eyes to where help comes from, So I want to teach all of these things this week, because I think the first relationship to renegotiate is your relationship with self. The Bible says the arm of flesh fail you, including your own flesh. It will fail you. It will. But I really want to invite you to bring your spirit into this journey and your relationship, which means that you have to change how you talk. Like, I don't like fruits and vegetables needs to not be a confession, that because our words are spiritual. I am fit, firm, and muscular has been a declaration I've been speaking over myself through this journey. Like, I've had to be taught that my words matter. God created everything we see with words. So if we don't get our words right, we don't get that alignment going. If we don't invite the spirit, this really first and foremost has to be a spiritual process if it will work. And then we have to see ourselves through the light of how God sees us. So if we don't renegotiate these relationships, we will set ourselves up for so much failure. That's the warning I want to give. So I really hear you, Pascaline, about this self-discipline issue, because I too have not had a great track record on anything coming to do with like self-disciplining to lose weight, or self-disciplining to eat right, or to exercise regularly, but the difference here is that I am now yielding, right? And now, I will unpack, but I really want to just throw that out there as a huge disclaimer. Like, let's realize that none of us have the discipline or the self-will needed to make these kind of changes in these 5 distinct areas, but God can and wants to and does give it to us if we ask. So Vera, I see your hand is up. Do you want to go next?
Yes, I have to step into another meeting. So.
Okay, yes, quickly, please.
Okay, so my name is Vera, and the reason why I joined this is I've tried from the beginning of this year to go on a fast, and it's been a total mess. Like I just keep it's like you take one step forward, you take 3 steps back, and it's been like that continuously for 3 times. And I know the Lord is ushering me into new phase. It's been scary. It's been crazy. But then I know that I need structures. I need a group, a tribe, like someone said, to help me be accountable to myself. And joining this, I believe, will do that for me. And also to curb some of the health issues I'm currently facing. Up till now, doctors haven't been able to diagnose what is wrong with me. Some say it is early signs of stroke. Some are saying it's lupus, a whole lot of issues. And I'm hoping that I know it's connected to food, because the few times I've been able to, okay, I'm just trying to eat clean. It feels good. Like I literally feel good in my body when I begin to eat well. But issues here and there, then when I'm upset, when I'm frustrated, I binge eat. And I know that I can do it, but then I need help. So for me, this is like a place to get help, a place to improve my walk with God. I know there are different, like there's anything that I know or the Lord is taking me to. I know there's a higher dimension, there's a higher place that I can go to. That is where I want to. That is where I want to get to. What if I'm able to bring my body under submission? What is there? What can I achieve? I think that is the question, or that is a question posed to myself, and that is what I'm seeking to explore and get answers to. So thank you very much, and I have to run.
Thank you, Vera. Thank you so, so much, and all the best with your next meeting. Agnes, are you able to unmute and share with us? Agnes, are you hearing us, or have you dropped off? All right. Belinda, are you able to unmute and share?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so I'm Belinda from Accra, Ghana. So I heard of this challenge, I think in Sunny FM, and then I was contemplating whether to join or not to join, because I was fearful that I wouldn't be committed, and then the issue of self-discipline. So I just joined in, I think, later on today. I feel I feel empty, I feel unmotivated, and I feel tired, and I feel stuck. But I'm looking forward to be renewed spiritually, emotionally, and also build relationships with my children. I just want to, this year I tried to set goals. And when June came, I'm like, hey, so I've not been able to set my goals. And I'm hoping to set new challenges for myself and not to move from my comfort zone. That's what I'm looking at to.
Thank you so much for sharing, Belinda. And we're so glad you're here. And we trust God that you will find what you came looking for. All right. Have we heard from everyone? I don't think we've heard from Joyce. Joyce, are you able to unmute and share? And then we'll go to Patience and Ikia. Joyce, are you able to unmute? All right. Patience, are you in a position to unmute and share?
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Joyce, we hear you now.
I struggle with this Zoom. I don't even know whether I'm on or
you are on.
The video. Okay. Yeah. So the reason why I joined is that this is like the last time I want to join. If it doesn't work, then I'll just give up. But I don't think it's gonna happen. For this weight loss, for me, I thought maybe it's one battle that can be fought, but by the grace of God, there's nothing God cannot do. This is actually one last. This is like a thin line left for me to try. I'm scared to go to the hospital for checkup because I can already diagnose what's wrong with me. I wake up with so much pain now. I can't stand for a very long time. I have pain in my spine, and I'm also looking forward to having one voice in terms of maybe when I speak, people who understand, because I feel communication has been a bit of a challenge in terms of trying to express how I feel, because it's very unbearable now. My great grandma passed at 90, and I can see she was walking, everything looked okay. And when I look at myself almost 40, and I feel like I rather look 90 than the 40 or the 39 that I am now. And sometimes you see all these things and it's a bit depressing. I'm just having, I think I spoke to Yawa, I messaged some time back. I just feel I have something wrong with me. I just feel I have a psychological problem. Not that I'm going crazy, but I feel I don't like myself anymore. The way I don't even look in the mirror every time. I mean, sometimes maybe once in a week, I just look in the mirror and bypass because I feel this is not me. But how do I find myself? And this has been a challenge. So as I said, this is the last opportunity I'm giving myself, and I'm just praying I don't go in and come back the same. I really want to challenge myself, and I'm happy Yawa spoke about the exercise. And sometimes these terms we hear, it's sort of a put off. It doesn't motivate us enough. But in terms of maybe dancing, it's something fun. In terms of maybe I mean Yawa mentioned the vegetables and fruits. I think before they sounded like enemies to me because I was I do like vegetables, I don't like this, and it's even affecting my children now because they see carrots and just start throwing them out, and I'm like, I pray you don't end up like me, or you don't become like me, because I didn't really start life with vegetables. Life just started with ampesi, and I mean the local food just goes straight to the point. Everything's blended, and now I just have to chew the let me call the raw materials, and it's a whole different lifestyle for me. And now I feel I just have to try this before I enter 40. And I'm happy this challenge is even going to end before my 40th birthday, because at least this would be a good birthday present I'll give to myself, because I'm even scared to check my weight. I'm scared to even, I mean, I feel like going for checkup, but at the end of the day, I say I can even diagnose what's wrong with me. So I'm just praying by God's help as this has come, nothing comes to me by chance. I believe God brings miracles away every time. I'm just praying that God have mercy on me, and I'll put through this, and I'll see myself differently. I'll just have the confidence to go for events and network, because I feel like I'm shutting down every words. I've lost relationships in terms of I just focus on work and forget every other thing. And I just pray that God will have mercy on me and bring me back to where His purpose me to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joyce. And, I join faith with you that this will be a transformative experience and that God will use this to just really set you on the right track, especially before your 40th. For me, my 40th was my kind of turning point moment of reflection. So I believe and hope that you will experience same. Agnes, are you able to unmute and share, or shall we move along to Patience? All right. I think Patience may have also dropped off. I wonder. Okay. Equia, are you able to unmute and share?
Can you hear me? I've been waiting patiently for this.
I can hear you. Please go
Can
ahead.
you hear me, please?
I can.
Great, great. All right. So my name is Priya for a quarantine. I'm given as well. And I jumped at this 2 day challenge because I was really looking forward to something really challenging me, especially in my area of I don't sleep well. I'm moving like that. And I think I fall in the empathetic group, helping everybody by myself. And it's a problem because I'm quite lethargic. I'm not on any medication. I try, I do my exercises, I eat well, fruits and veggies, and almost like pretty well. But I'm not doing very well when it comes to resting and also with the reading of my Bible. I can listen to devotions and do my worship, but in terms of reading the Bible, actually, and digesting and making sense out of it. It's like when I'm having Bible study with my friends, we do that, but on my own, it's become a bit of a challenge. So I'm looking forward to this very much, and pretty well, everybody in my family will be happy.
Ukia, thank you so much for sharing. I'm really glad you're with us. I don't know if you're still speaking or you were done, but I think I lost your audio. All right. I think we've heard from everyone. Justina, I saw you, but I don't see you anymore, so I think she must have dropped off. But I think we're
Dropped off. I think the connection, yes, I dropped off because I can't even share my video. My power has been off 6. I rushed home to have this meeting and then only to get home to do so just went off.
Oh
So I'm
dear.
doing this on my phone. And it's yes, so I'm really happy to be here now. I just lost my husband exactly a year ago, and I'm sure wherever he is, he'll be happy that I'm trying to sleep well because it's been a long-standing thing that we used to grapple with. I will never sleep, just doing everything till everybody's enough hours to sleep and the first to wake up. So I'm looking forward to this. Eat well, bond with others, share and learn, and be a better version of myself. Actually, I was also about 100. I came to 80. Recently, I realized I've gone back to 85. I'm looking forward to going back to 80 at the end of this challenge with
Great.
a bit more dedication to eating well and learning from others as well. I was really motivated when I heard you on Sunny FM. I've been listening quite often. My connection to Sunny is not good, so I only listen when I'm in the car driving. And so I'm happy to be doing this and look forward to greater and better experiences in the very near future. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. And I just really want to wind us up because I think that there's been so much shared, and I've given some editorial guidelines and insights as I've heard each of you share. But I feel honored to be your leader as we're going through this journey together. But I believe that we will learn from each other. As I shared, there's about 30 of us who are registered to take this journey. There are a few last minute registrations that came in today. So I ask for your patience. Throughout tomorrow, we're going to be realigning the WhatsApp groups and the Facebook group. I understand that some of you did not get the email invite to join the Facebook group. And in the registration form, we didn't ask people for their Facebook profiles. So what I'm going to ask via email and via the WhatsApp group is for people to just share the email address that they use on Facebook, because some of you registered with a different email, and I think that you're not getting the invites because of that. Because we've set the group to private, I can't just share with you a link to join. And I don't think it will always come up if you search for it. So you can try that. If not, please be patient with us so that by tomorrow we try to get everyone on the Facebook group before we start posting all the videos and all the content so nobody misses anything. But a number of people weren't able to make this live call today, so we're going to ask you to also kindly introduce yourself in the WhatsApp and the Facebook groups as well. Some of you aren't on Facebook at all, so you're going to be relying on the content that you see in WhatsApp. So we totally understand that, and we'll try to make sure you miss nothing. The last thing I do want to say is that, for me, this is a labor of love. It's not really a business. It's not what I do for work, but it really was something that I was feeling God was leading me to invite people to. So I say that to say that I'm going to be learning as we go along as well, because this is the first time I've done a challenge of this nature. So please extend me grace if it takes too long to hear back from me on anything. And because this is personal, deep emotional work, I haven't asked any team members to be involved yet. I didn't feel like people would want everybody listening to their stuff. So that's why I'm trying to keep this quite tight, and I'm the key person that's putting it all together. But by noon tomorrow, I'm going to be posting video for day 2. We're starting off with relationships, and I'm going to post video and some work that I would encourage you to do and share in the groups. And then I'm going to post some reflection questions for you as well. Again, this only works if you do. So please bring an open heart and open mind to the exercises and the videos, and I'll post the information for our next live call, which will be on Wednesday. So there's no live call tomorrow, but I will be posting videos by noon my time, which is GMT. So please watch out for those videos in the WhatsApp link and in the WhatsApp group and in the Facebook group as well. And then I'll share information for our next live call, which will likely be a little earlier for the sake of my East Coast people. But yeah, it's gonna be an organic, iterative journey together. And 52 days is a long time to stay together. So I want to make sure that we realize it's a marathon and not a sprint. And I just really want to thank you for sharing time tonight and sharing so vulnerably. We didn't get to everybody's introduction, so I want to encourage you to please prioritize the introductions in the groups as well. And I'm looking forward to a great journey. I do want to leave the last 15 minutes open if there are any questions that I can answer. I'll be posting the schedule of like content in the chats tomorrow as well. So if your questions are on like what's happening on each day, I got you. And I'm going to post that in the group tomorrow. I spent most of today just really trying to get us organized with who's paid and who hasn't, who needs to be let in and who doesn't. But tomorrow we'll focus on content and videos for you to start with, and with the hopes that you will engage and share. My hope is that by the end of this week, we can do our accountability pairings as well, so that each of you has someone to journey with for the 52 days, so that when we're in group sessions like this, you also have a smaller group of people to connect with. So please look out for that as well. But it's my pleasure to be on this journey with each of you, and I look forward to the journey of transformation, of learning and growth that God is calling us all to. So on this note, the floor is open. Questions, answers, thoughts, reflections before we sign off for tonight.
I'd like to ask a question, please.
Yes, please, Na.
This is Na here. Yes. And basically, in joining, I've been a bit distracted with work and other things. So I think I listened to just one video of yours, which was where you shared that you had you've had to stop taking some of your medication. So I came into this with the impression that this was diet related, but I'm finding out it's a whole lot more. However, when it comes to the diet, are you going to tell us all the secrets for us to find our way, or
Yeah,
you're
thank
just gonna share, yeah, what you personally had to go through? Because I just thinking of the fact that I'd have to go on veggies and just fruits and veggies, it's sort
Yeah.
of magnified itself in my mind already, and I pray that I get the coping skills for what's ahead. Yeah.
So, great question. I am not being prescriptive at all about diet. I will share what I've learned, and I will share what I'm doing. I will share resources on nutrition for you to do your own readings and watchings and to come to a decision that makes sense for you. The other thing that I would say is that especially if you're on medications and you have different diagnoses, I would encourage you to not make any rash decisions about dietary changes without consulting your medical professional. You know, I am not a nutritionist. I am not a medical doctor. So I am sharing with you what I've learned and what I've done for information purposes only. And because I'm not a certified health practitioner, I cannot, prescribe for you what to do. But I am, sharing my story and sharing what I'm doing, and with the hopes that that inspires you. I will, be very, very frank with you that I do think that um, for any transformation process, especially if you're looking for physical and health benefit, I do think cutting out processed food helps. That's why people who do like the carnivore diet or the Atkins diet or like whatever diet it is, the common denominator is that they cut out processed food. So, at the very least, my recommendation would be for everyone looking for health outcomes to reduce or cut out processed foods from your diet. Because I find that, no matter what you're doing, if you're doing fully raw like I'm doing, and I share that only for informational process purposes, I found that the fully raw diet, it was hard and it still can be hard, but I found that it just required a greater amount of discipline. It really helped me shed the weight quicker. It improved my metabolism. It re-kicked, it reformulated my gut microbiome so that my digestion improved. So the benefits for me were magnified. So that's why, I share it because I want you to know what I was doing. I feel like it would be so unfair to invite you to this journey and not tell you at least what I was doing to get these results, because a lot of people saw that my results were quite drastic. But I'm not prescribing it because different people are at different levels of faith, different levels of, wellness. I don't know, what all is going on with you and whether a sharp change in your nutrition would be counterproductive, which is why I want to reiterate that I am not the health professional. So everything I share having to do with wellness, really is just based on my own results, my own research, and I will point you to that research and point you to the results that I've had with the hopes that it informs and inspires you to make the decision that makes sense for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. But for me, if nothing at all, I know that just coming into this, like has all the positive vibes that one needs. I'm a choleric female. I'm really very driven. I don't know if I followed you for years on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen any of my content. I have had to work myself so hard since I was like age 19 or 20. I've pushed myself, for me, failure is not an option. So I'm one of those people who has had to, work more than live. And so this for me is like a place where I can probably come and unlearn all the, toxic narratives that I've driven myself with, let go of some of the fears that are so binding. Sometimes you're looking at your past and you're tied to your past, and you're scared you see some things again, and you've decided, okay, no matter what, this must never happen again to me. And it ties you, it sort of imprisons you because you're in this state where you must not live your past anymore, or you're trying to break generations of certain stagnancies. So for me, even if it's not about the diet, I believe that by the time this journey has ended, just hearing everybody, come with their own positive positive declarations, encouragement and all of that. I'm hoping that by the end of the 52 days, I would have a different perspective from what I joined with. Yeah.
Amen. May it be so.
Thank you.
May
Yeah.
it be so.
Amen.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing that. Any other questions from anyone? All right. I don't see any other hands up or anyone else unmuting. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. It's by my time, it's 9:53 p.m., at least here in Ghana, which means Imelda must be asleep by now. So let's release her to go to bed. But thank you all for joining us today, and watch out in the group. Oh, Imelda is still here. Oh my goodness. I admire your tenacity. Oh. To your loved one. Thank you so much for joining us, and for, the great questions, the great introductions. I hope you will bring all of this energy into the Facebook and the WhatsApp communities as well. Please look out tomorrow by noon for the next set of videos and assignments for what we're doing for day 2. But yeah, keep the questions coming. You've got me on WhatsApp, you've got me on Facebook. So I look forward to this wonderful, enriching journey. God bless you all, and good night. Good rest of the day wherever you are. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night. Say good night. Say good
Good night,
night.
little one.
Night, night. Night, night.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.